Okay, I'm not gonna waste you guys' time. This is part 2 of how to create the perfect build in nba2k24. So let's just get right into it. No intro needed. Okay, now we're in phase number 2, and we can get onto the builder. You planned your player out now. You know what you want. Now let's make a player. So let's go make a new player. I'm going right-handed. I usually make all my players right-handed. I'm gonna go jersey number 13. I'm going point guard. Now, if this is your first time making a player, maybe just look at this screen for a second. I want to be fast, so off the bat, I'm just going to start with lowest weight. This is just to look around. Nothing's for sure yet. You're at the beginning process of creating your build. So I'm looking over here. This is a good time to also mention that there's a big difference between 6'4 players and 6'5 players in terms of animations you unlock, both jump shot wise and playmaking wise. So make sure you pay attention to that. And when you're in the planning process, I didn't mention it then, but when you're in the planning process, write down if an animation is locked under a height requirement, especially jump shots and dribble moves. Those are the biggest ones. I cannot stress this enough. Write down if the animation is locked under a height requirement, because you don't want to make your player and then go put on your animation that you think you have enough attributes for, or you think you're good to get, and then you realize, oh my God, I can't even get that. I've messed up big time. Don't make that mistake. But now, looking at the heights. So at the time I'm thinking my playmaker is going to be a little taller, like I said. So I'm going to go 6'7", which is what I started with. So, like I said, I'm going to make a tall player. Originally, I was thinking 6'7". I'm not going to waste your time by trial and error. I did the trial and error already, so I know. So I'm going to go straight to a 6'8", because I know that's the height that I want. Now, for you, don't rush this part. Take your time. Go height by height. Check the stats, look for what you need. I'm going to 6'8" because I'm not going to sit here and waste your time with an hour-long video doing the trial and error. I already did the trial and error. I know what it's like. But go do the trial and error, check every viable height until you find what you want. I'm going 6'8" here, and I'll show you why. So I said that I wanted Hall of Fame dimer. I said I wanted Kyrie dribble style. I said I wanted Hall of Fame ankle breaker. I said I wanted all these crazy things. I know I'm not going to get them all. I knew that when I wrote them down, I wasn't going to get them all. But now it's time to really go through and figure out what I can and cannot get, what must be taken out, and what can stay. This is that time. So, off the bat, I know that if I'm going to make a tall playmaker, I'm not going to get Kyrie dribble style. So, boom, out the window. What's the next best dribble style I can get as a tall player? I can get Kobe dribble style. But the only way I can get Kobe dribble style is 88 speed with ball. The only way to get 88 speed with ball is, I believe, 6'5 player, maybe a 6'6 player, but I don't know for sure. And I didn't want a player that small at the time. So, Kobe dribble style out of the picture. What threshold now are the next best dribble styles? This should all be stuff that you wrote down in your planning. All the possibilities. You really want to go through all the possibilities. I want a 75 speed with ball, because that's where most of the dribble styles are unlocked. So start the player off, we're going 75 speed with ball. Now you see, all I upgraded so far was my speed with ball, and my ball handle went up with it. My pass accuracy went up with it. So did my perimeter, so did my speed, acceleration, vertical stamina, even my driving layup. That's just how this game works. So that's something you have to deal with and you have to learn. As you're making your player, you're going to learn certain things put up other stats. Let's say I maxed out my ball handle, but then I decided after, oh, you know what? I only want an 80. I don't need an 85. I put my 85 down. I can't forget now that I have to also put down my driving layup, or else I'm wasting stats where I don't need them. So it's very complicated, but pay attention to what's being upgraded when you upgrade certain stats. Now, if I put my ball handle back up, you see, look, my driving layup goes up. And every one I put up, it goes up. But if I put it down, the driving layup doesn't go down with it. So I have to manually come over here and take it down. So pay attention to what you're upgrading and what else is being upgraded with it. I'm maxing out my ball handle on this player. Next, pass accuracy. I put my pass accuracy up to 91. You're going to see nothing else gets upgraded with it, so I don't have to worry too much. So I said I wanted Hall of Fame dimer. I come up to Hall of Fame dimer. I'll go 96 pass accuracy because I want Hall of Fame dimer, right? We'll go 96. Next, we're not going to touch shooting yet, because that's a complicated thing that I'm going to explain in a minute. Driving layup. I said I wanted Hall of Fame dimer, or Hall of Fame. Why do I keep calling it dimer? I said I wanted Hall of Fame Pro Touch, right? So let's put it up. So you can see my close shot goes up with my driving layup. So if I were to go like this right now, and then I went too high. Let me put this down quickly. Okay, 80, that's what I wanted, right? I have to remember to put this close shot down. I'm gonna keep saying it a few times because it's so important. You don't want to waste attributes where you don't need to waste attributes. Sometimes if I'm upgrading my driving layup and I know, so you can see, look, upgrading my driving layup, close shot is highlighted in yellow, strength is highlighted in yellow. Those are gonna be the stats that are affected. So if I upgrade my driving layup and I go too high by accident and I bring it back down, I'm gonna come over here with my close shot and also put it down. Sometimes I'll even go one extra just to make sure I've reached the bare minimum. So I'll put it back up. Now here for strength, it put up my strength too. So I could lower that down until I get to this point, but I know my strength is gonna end up going higher than 30 anyways. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Driving layup 80. Next, I said I wanted all these dunk packages. What did I say? 75 was for DeMar DeRozan. So we're gonna start off with 75. 75 is what I wanted for DeMar DeRozan dunk package. What else did I want? Giannis dunk package, Ben Simmons dunk package. Those are also a 75 standing dunk. So let's come over here and put up the standing dunk to 75. There we go. Standing dunk to 75. Next, let's come over here to defense. Hall of Fame, or Hall of Fame. Silver clamps was an absolute must for me. I'm gonna come here, put up perimeter to an 85, steal to an 85 because I said that I wanted interceptor on a decent level. Now, when you're first creating the player, you kind of just have to put stats in certain spots and then adjust them as you go. The more you play with the builder system, the more you're gonna learn what you can and cannot do. When I was telling you originally to just reach for the stars and put the most insane animations and badges, I'm saying that is as if this is your first time ever creating a player and you don't know how the builder system's gonna work. So aim high and then you'll learn later. I've played with this system for so long and I've played with the builder so many times that I pretty much know exactly how much I'm going to be able to get while still putting stats in other places that I want. So I'm going to start with the 85 speed. Let's change it. Let's say I didn't know. I'll go with the 89. Oh, okay. I want gold interceptor. I'm going to go 89 steal. Now I want my defensive rebound up to 83, right? Because I want rebound chaser on silver. So there we go. We're gonna put our defensive rebound up to 83 because it gets me rebound chaser on silver. Now my speed. Oh, like I said, I want hyperdrive and speed booster. So gotta put my speed up. Oh, so there you go. I got gold. I got bronze hyperdrive and bronze speed booster. Let's keep going up. Keep going up. Oh, there we go. I got silver on each. So this is a good speed threshold, but now my acceleration's low. So I want to bring this up a little bit. Let's keep putting it all the way up here. So I'm at a 79 now. It's a little high. How much can I drop it? I could drop it. I don't lose anything. Like I said, acceleration doesn't affect much. Okay, it's just badges and that quick first step, but you don't notice it as much on that first step. Especially with taller players. Smaller guards, you'll notice it more. So I'm going to drop it down. Okay, I don't need 79, 78. Okay, let's go lower. 77, 76, 75, 74 even. Doesn't change anything. 73 still doesn't change anything. Oh, but then now I lost fast feet. And I lost blow by. I want both those badges. So let's put that acceleration back up one. You're going to learn as you continue to play with it. Certain heights have pretty general physical ratings depending on the kind of player you're making. So if I'm making a 6'8" ball handler, specifically a ball handler, I pretty much know I'm going with 81 speed, 73 acceleration on the player. Like I'm pretty much guaranteed that that's what I'm going to do. So right away, 81 and 73 is where I'm going. You're going to see a lot of other people, other YouTubers, other builds are going to have that. Next, I needed that silver clamps, right? Okay, let's go look. Okay, silver clamps. I have the perimeter rating. I need strength. Let's put strength up. So I'm at a 45 strength now. I get it on bronze. Okay, I have the 85 perimeter rating. Next is 50 strength. Let's put it up to 50. We're going to get 50 strength. Now we have silver clamps. Stamina. I'm maxing that right out. Stamina is really cheap, and I want handles for days as high as I can get it. Remember I said I wanted handles for days on Hall of Fame? Well, I'm not going to get it on a 6'8" player, and I know that. So for now, we're going to keep that out of our mind. Like I said, you're going to experiment with heights. I've already done all that, so I'm using this as an example. You have to take my words more than you take... You have to take my words with more value than you take the gameplay in this video. Listen to what I'm saying, it's very important. Next thing we have to touch on is shooting. Now I have 10 overall ratings, which is not a lot to upgrade my shooting. Haven't talked about shooting at all yet, and this is where I'm going to address it. Shooting is complicated in this game. A lot of people are struggling to shoot. A lot of people are having an easy time shooting. If this was your first player, I hate to break it to you, it's hard to tell. There's other places you can go practice kind of shooting with different attributes. You can try the 2KU, you can try blacktop. There's so many things you can do. The problem is, even if you change the difficulty, there's sliders that change things slightly, so it's never going to be exact. But if you want, you can always just create a player here and then go use the my player builder tester as a general idea if you'd like. But I would recommend watch other YouTubers, ideally live gameplays, because live games are going to show you how people are actually shooting without them being able to cut things out or keep them in. You're going to be able to see how people are shooting with certain ratings if you know their builds. So I would say do a lot of research on shooting and honestly every other attribute so you can really get the threshold that you want. But do the research on the shooting specifically, because every 2K is different, and in this game it's quite difficult. Now my next tip is, if you already have a player and this is maybe your second player, you're in the builder labbing up, go on your first player, assuming your first player can shoot. If you made a first player that can't shoot, then unfortunately this tip won't work for you. But if you made a player that can shoot, even if it's really good or even if it's kind of shitty, go on your player that can shoot. If it's the same height as the new player you're gonna make, good. If not, again, this tip won't work. Unfortunately, this tip is quite, it's quite, what's the word, circumstantial. Because there's many players that'll make a guard, not be happy with, and they want to make another guard. If you're one of those people, or maybe you made a big man, not happy with it, make another big man. If you're almost remaking your player, this tip is definitely gonna work for you. If you can, go on to the player you already have made, find a jump shot with the 3-point rating that you want to create your new player at. For me, when I was creating my playmaker build, which is basically the build I'm recreating for you guys right here, I experimented with the heights. Now, this is a whole other dimension of creating a build, and I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think you should focus on it. But for me, who knows the builder pretty well, I wanted my player to come out as a floor general or something with pure playmaker in mind. Now, unfortunately, you could get the playmaker build name in this game, supposedly. I've never gotten it, but to get the floor general build name, which is what I was going for, I needed a 76 3-point rating. I couldn't go higher than that. Anything higher than that would have taken away that name from me. So at first thought, I'm like, okay, 76 isn't bad. I can definitely shoot with a 76. I know Mike Wang said it's possible to shoot consistently with a 76. I've seen other creators shooting with a 76. Like, this will work. Then I took a step back and thought, wait, my mid-range is also a 76. And if you didn't know, jump shots are restricted by your rating and height in this game. So what a lot of people are doing is putting their mid-range up so that they can unlock more jump shot animations, even if their 3-pointer is low. I'm not doing that on this player. My jump shot is gonna have to rely on a 76 because my mid-range and my 3-point rating are both the same. So now I started thinking, okay, let me hold up a second. I could probably shoot the 76 3-point rating, but am I gonna be able to get a jump shot that I actually like? I went on to the player that I previously made and I looked through the custom jump shots to try and find something that would work. Eventually I did find something that would work, and it was only at that point where I knew, okay, I'm safe with the 76 3-pointer because I know that I know for sure that I'll have a jump shot that I want. 76 3-pointer is what I went with because of that. Now free throw, I went up to 71 because I wanted free points. I play rec. That's not that important. Free throw is pretty cheap stat. And now the last thing I'm thinking here is, as a ball handler, if I'm creating this player as a primary ball handler, I'd like to have unpluckable on gold, but obviously I can't get it through my ball handling rating on this player because I can't get a 92 ball handle. Now what I can get is post control. So there we go. I'm going over to post control. This is the one side I didn't talk about, and this is why I didn't talk about it. Post control, I'm gonna get other stuff with it, but I'm mainly doing it for the unpluckable. Let's put the post control up. Shit, I can only get a 73 post control. That's not enough. So now, when you're at this point where you're at a 98 overall, or 99 even, and your build's supposed to be almost complete, but you're not happy with it, this is when you really have to dive in and start picking out the stats that are very important to you and the things you can live without. Right off the bat, I'm looking at this. 96 pass accuracy is expensive. If I drop this down even to a 92, which is also a great rating, I get an overall point. If I drop it down to a 90 or I keep it at 91, if I put it down to an 89, I get 3 overall ratings, which is a lot. So on my 6'8 player, I ended up going with a 91 because I still wanted Needle Threader on gold. I wanted Bailout. Like I wanted all the gold playmaking badges. And at 89, I still get a lot of them, but not all of them. I wanted the Needle Threader. I wanted the Touch Passer. I wanted the Special Delivery Hall of Fame. Like I wanted those badges. So I went with 91, but I saved a lot of attributes. I saved 2 full attributes from that. 91 pass accuracy. I went down to there. Let's see what I can do now with the post control. Oh, wow. Look at that. 94. And I don't need 94, so we'll drop that down to 92. Now, like I said, that put up my close shot. So I got to come back over here, put that down too. Just to be safe, we'll put it down another one. Okay. Put that to 92. Now I have my unpluckable on gold. I mean, the build is looking pretty solid, right? I have everything. Looking at it, it seems pretty good. Seems like I have pretty much everything I want, right? I could end it right here. This could be my player. 75 driving dunk, 75 standing dunk. I have my Hall of Fame Pro Touch. I have my unpluckable on gold. My 3-point shot is high enough. My pass accuracy is high enough. My ball handling is good. My perimeter defense is exactly where I wanted it. But I feel like I could do more, which is exactly what I did when I created my player. Now, defensive rebound at 83 is more expensive than offensive rebound. Defensive rebound is always more expensive than offensive rebound. So this is when you should start experimenting. I'm going to take my defensive rebound off. Let's put it on offensive rebound. I'm able to get a 79 offensive rebound. But it saves me some attributes. Look, I could even put my steal up. I could put my steal up to 93. Like, looking pretty good, right? But then my vertical's low. That's a little unfortunate. Let's continue experimenting. Let's put my steal back down. I don't need the steal that high. 91 is a good threshold, by the way, if you want gold glove and gold right stick ripper with your interceptor. Just wanted to point that out, but for the purpose of the video, we're gonna drop back down to 89. Okay, so we're at 89. The offensive rebound won't work because I can't get my silver rebound chaser even though I'm so close, right? Not necessarily. This is when I'm gonna back out. How much weight do I have to put up for me to get my rebound, my offensive rebound to an 83? Let's see. Keep putting it up. You might think, oh, but you're gonna be losing speed, right? Yeah, you'll see. So keep going, keep going. Oh, there we go. 211 pounds. That's the point where I need my weight to get my offensive rebound at 83. So let's go. Let's put it up. Offensive rebound 83. Nice. So now I got my silver rebound chaser, and the weight doesn't affect me because look, my speed wasn't maxed anyways. It was only at 81. My acceleration wasn't maxed at all either. It was only at 73, and that can stay the same. So the weight is fine to go up. Now I'm looking around. The build looks nice. Let's think about it. At this point, you could start going in and playing in the My Player build tester to actually play around with the player, see how he plays. Now, this is something I didn't mention when I was planning my build, but I did actually think about this when I was realistically planning my build, but I didn't mention this in the video yet. I think strength is very important in this game. One of, in my opinion, best defensive badges in this game is Immovable Enforcer. It's a very strong badge that'll allow you to play good defense on the interior and the perimeter. It activates on both. So at this point now, I'm thinking the build is good, but I think it could be better. Let's see if we can get the strength of the vertical up. They're pretty low. 50 and 56, they're pretty low. So we'll go with strength first. Let's see. We can get 61. It's not terrible. Gives me fearless finisher on silver. Gives me physical handles on bronze. It's not really what I want though. So what can I drop? Steel is at an 89. I can go with gold interceptor. But in my mind, I'm thinking I don't need gold interceptor. I think I'm fine with silver. So we're gonna drop that down. We're gonna put strength up even higher, 70. Okay. 70 strength is better now. Now we're at silver physical handles. We even have box out beast now, which box out beast is a great badge. There's a reason it's an S tier badge. Box out beast. Back down punisher, which isn't gonna be that necessary. I'm not planning on backing people down. So 70 strength, still not high enough for me. I want more strength. I'm looking at the build. What can I take down? What can I take down? I think the standing dunk can come down because I don't need the standing dunk that high. I only had the standing dunk that high for the Giannis and Ben Simmons dunk package. So we'll drop the standing dunk down to a 65 and we'll try and put it on strength. Wow, gets me up to an 80. It's pretty solid, right? But that gives me a movable enforcer on bronze. I'd like to have it on silver, and it's only 2 strength away, but I can't get 2 strength. We're gonna come back over here to weight. Let's take a look. If I put my weight up, I get, okay, +1, I get 1 + 1 strength. How much will it cost me to get 82? That's not bad. Only +3 on my weight to get +2 strength. And if I look, didn't touch my speed still, didn't touch my acceleration, and my speed with ball is the same. Those are the only 3 attributes that are affected by your weight, aside from negatively affected by your weight, aside from strength and things like that. So we're going 214 pounds now, and look, there we go. I can put my movable enforcer up. This is a pretty good build if you ask me. I mean, look, I could even get my steel up a little bit too. This is where you have to start tinkering and really make the build the way you want it. You can make this build right here. This is a good build, but in this game, you can change the smallest things and get a completely different build than someone. This build is a well-rounded build that can handle the ball, play make, finish pretty decently, not elite, but pretty decently, and has really solid defense. Now, if I want to make my player even more of a defensive presence, I could put my steal up to 87. I could drop my driving dunk or my standing dunk. Oh, look at that. I got 89 steal. If I go even more, let's see, maybe I can go even more. 45 standing dunk is still enough to get the basic standing dunk packages, remember? That's why I told you to write everything down. You want to have these numbers in front of you so that when you're making these changes at the end, you have the numbers there. So, okay, 75 was the original number I wanted. That didn't work out. What was the next one? 65. Okay, 65 wasn't bad. I knew I needed 65. But that didn't end up working out either. I kind of needed those attributes in other places. Okay, what's the next attribute cap I want to hit? Okay, 45. Let's go down to 45, which is what I did. Steal. Steal goes up to 91. Look at that now. Now I'm a more defensive version of the same build I just had 2 seconds ago. My finishing's a little weaker, not a lot. I still have the same driving dunk rating. My stand dunk's just a little lower. Yeah, I lost 2 animations. You ask yourself, were those animations absolute necessities, or were those animations just things that would have been nice to have? Now, remember, this build I'm creating for you right here is the actual build that I made. It's the build I had in my last video, and I'm quite literally walking you through my thought process when I made this player. This is exactly how I was thinking. I started off with the 96 pass accuracy. I started off with the 75 driving dunk, or 75 driving and standing dunk. And I made these exact changes that you're seeing me make. I even had the steal up to 91 at one point. Now, this is pretty good. I honestly think this is a solid build. You can make this right now. You'd be killing people. But for me, I thought with my player, I think I'd like my vertical to be a little higher. 56 is a little low for me. I want to be able to grab rebounds pretty well. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I get my vertical up now? What I did on my player is I dropped my steal to an 85. Because like I said, I'm not going for on-ball plucks. I could have kept it at an 89 for the interceptor. The interceptor is the most important thing for me and my playstyle. But I decided to drop it down to an 85. I figured 85, I still get glove and right stick gripper. If I really only wanted the interceptor, I could have dropped it to an 81. But I figured for the extra 4, I'll take the glove and right stick gripper. It's not that expensive. So I went with the 85 steal. With this, I figured let's put the vertical up. Now, the reason I wanted the vertical up is because you're gonna see now, vertical up, I get aerial wizard. That's more of a fun badge. It's not a necessity at all, but I get it. Keep going, pogo stick. That's a badge I wanted. Pogo stick helps with defense. Pogo stick helps with rebounds. Pogo stick helps with a lot of things. So there we go, 60 vertical. I got pogo stick now. Let's keep going up. Okay, aerial wizard on silver. That's nice. Why not? Now I can finish lobs, right? Remember, the 70 driving dunk rating was enough to get the basic alley-oop packages, alley-oop dunk packages. So now with the aerial wizard and the dunk pack, I can catch alley-oops now, right? For me, that's what I wanted. But I still have more attributes to play with. Let's keep going. Pogo stick on silver. That's huge. I wanted that. I got it. 70 vertical is what gets me posterizer on bronze, which is not the most insane badge. You're not going to be dunking on people with this build, but if there's people under the net, if there's people close to the rim, if you're trying to dunk in traffic, the posterizer will help. It activates for me really often Whether it's helping me or not, I don't know. I like to think it does. So I have it up. Now, I'm at 82 strength, 70 vertical. So 72 vertical could get me Aerial Wizard on gold. Remember, it's not a necessity, but that would be pretty cool. I know once you hit the gold threshold for Aerial Wizard, you can start getting putback dunks. And to me, that's fun. I mean, I'd love to get putback dunks. That sounds like an awesome part of this build if I can get that, right? So now I'm looking at what I could possibly change. So now I'm looking around at my build. I'm trying to think to myself, what can I drop? Now, you might not have picked up on something, but I know this. I just did it on purpose. My steal, I had it up at a 91, remember? That put up my interior defense, even though I didn't want it up. Now that the steal is back down to an 85, now we can drop it down to a 55. If I go lower, it'll take down my steal, so we're gonna keep it at 55. Doesn't seem like a lot. If you look at the top, the remaining attribute potential, that little bar, we don't have a lot from that. We didn't get a lot from that, but we got a little bit. Let's see, what did I really want? That vertical, right? I'm able to get the vertical. So there's my Aerial Wizard. I have Aerial Wizard on gold now. What am I gonna use the rest of these attributes on? Looking at the player, I have everything I want. I've had to compromise on some stuff, but that's just how it is. You can't do everything. So you have to find what you want to do it well, and then find the stats that are absolutely necessary to have and the things that aren't that important, and those are the things you cut out. To me, I'll go over that after. Let me finish the build. Got the vertical I wanted now. Everything looks pretty good. I play rec. I like playing rec, and I want to be able to hit free throw. So I figured, you know what, let's put my free throw up at least 80 so I can get the free points on silver. So I did that. Free points on silver, the 80 free throw, that's nice. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's a perfect free throw rating. I can keep going. I can go up to 90 if I want. I can go up to 97. But I'm going to keep it at 80 for now. Looking around at what else I can change. On my build, I went with an 81 driving layup. Now, I'm not unlocking any badges from this, but I knew that at 81 driving layup, I can get the DeMar DeRozan layup package, which has a really good Euro step animation. Honestly speaking, I don't, even now that I went with that on my current player, I don't use it. So I could have taken the driving layup off and went all on free throw if I really wanted to, but I didn't. I went with the driving layup rating on my player when I actually made him. So I went with the 81 driving layup. Now I could go all out on free throw still, go to 97 free throw, or even just 90 if I want to get the free points on gold. But to me, that seemed excessive. I can hit free throws with an 80, and as long as it goes in, it doesn't matter how high my free throw rating is, as long as I can score them. So 80 free throw, I stuck with that. I figured I don't need to go higher than that, not right now. I looked around at what I wanted, and I saw that perimeter defense was able to be upgraded. Obviously, the stuff that's grayed out, you can't upgrade anymore. Like if I try and upgrade steal, I can't. But perimeter defense, I can upgrade. So I figured, am I gonna get anything for that 86? And I get workhorse. It doesn't seem like a lot. Also, I want to point out that if I go higher than 86 on this player, I'll lose my floor general name, which, again, don't focus too much on the name when you're making your player, unless that's something you really want to focus on. But for me, on this player, I did want to focus on the name, so I wouldn't go higher than 87, even though 87 gives you like challenger on gold and stuff, but I wasn't going to do that. So I went 86 perimeter defense, workhorse on gold. Workhorse may not seem like a big badge to a lot of people. For me, I really enjoy it though. It'll basically allow you to get loose balls better than the other team. And there's a lot of things that are considered loose balls. I don't know if you've ever tried to steal the ball from someone and you get that animation where you kind of poke the ball out and it's on the floor, and both you and the ball handler trying to reach down to grab it. And then sometimes they'll pick it up first. Well, workhorse activates in that situation. If you have a higher level of workhorse than the other team and you guys are in a similar position to the ball, you'll probably grab it over them. And that reason alone is quite literally the only reason I went with 86 perimeter on my build. The 86 perimeter allows me to get the workhorse on gold, and I figured there's gonna be times where I pluck the ball from people and I don't grab it, so I want workhorse because I think I'll outmaneuver the other team and I'll grab those steals, and it'll be very helpful. Yeah. Okay. And finally, to finish off the build, free throw. I put the rest on free throw, 85. It's not necessary. I could have put it in other places, but it's not going to do anything for me. I could have put it 1 on defensive rebound, but why? I'd rather put it on free throw just for myself. And this is quite literally the exact player that I built. If you look at my other video and you compare the stats, this is the same player. And I walked you through my entire thought process from beginning to end when creating this player. And that's the exact thought process you should take when creating any player. It could be a small player, it could be a big player. Okay, now that we're at the end, let's do a quick recap of everything we've talked about. So, you want to make a new build. The first step is to plan your build. Now, depending on if it's your first build or not, depending on if you have a lot of knowledge of the game or not, will depend on how long, will change how long this step takes. So before you do anything, you need to figure out, first of all, what kind of player you're gonna make. Are you making a big man? Are you making a more of a wing player? Are you making a point guard? Are you making a shooting guard? Are you making a ball handler, or are you making a role player? Figure out what kind of player you want to make. Step 2 is figure out which badges and which animations you want to get. Now, don't worry too much about the tiers at this point. You need to figure out what badges you want, and then figure out, multiple different tiers around which you might be able to hit. Figure out which animations you want and write down or have easily accessible the stats that you'll need to get it. If it's dunking, make sure you know how much driving dunk rating you'll need. Make sure you know how much vertical you'll need. If it's dribble moves, make sure you know what ball handling you need. If it's a dribble style, speed with ball, etc. Figure out what animations, badges you need. Figure out the requirements. Write it down or have it easily accessible, because you need to reference it multiple times throughout creating your player. The last step is game knowledge. If you are making your first player, like I said, watch some YouTube live streams, watch different YouTubers, get various opinions, learn which badges are good, which level of badge is the best value, learn which stats are good, learn everything. Learn as much as you can about the kind of player you want to make. Sometimes even about other stuff, just so you know what you'll be going up against. Learn the game a little bit before you make your player, so you have an idea of what you're building in the grand scheme of whatever 2K it is you're playing. In this case, obviously, 2K24. Then after all that, you could finally get into actually building your player, which is the second major step, building your player. You want to start with experimenting with different heights, and then try and grab the information you got from the last step, which was planning your build, and hit those you want to grab all the info that you gathered from the last step, which is planning your build, and use that information to start building the player that you want. Look at the animations that you want to get, the badges you want to get, the playstyle you're going for, and start building your player accordingly. Now, at this point, you want to make sure you're experimenting with different heights, different wingspans, different weights. Experiment with it all until you find something that's pretty much covering all your boxes. You want to check as many of your boxes as you can. Remember what I said though, you need to have a balance, and you need to figure out what things are absolutely necessary and what things are absolutely necessary, and which things can be taken out or put lower than you originally wanted them. You need to have a priority list. Then finally, once you create your player, you have your stats where you want them, it looks like you're checking both your boxes. Take a step back, look at the player, look at the build. I'm going to guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that first player you make is not going to be the one you stick with. And I encourage you to not go with that player right off the bat. After you make a player that looks like it's pretty good, analyze every stat. Make sure you didn't put stats in places you don't need them. Make sure you don't put stats in places you don't need them. Don't go too high on certain thresholds where you're not really getting anything. Don't go too low where you're missing out on something that could very easily be obtainable to you. At this point, this is a good time to go through all the info that you wrote down when you were planning your build in the first step and look through it again. Essentially, at this point, you're doing a back and forth of going through the things you wrote down in your planning stage and going through your checklist of things you want and things you need and then things that aren't as important, and you're trying to break it down, trying to make the perfect player, trying to literally get every single attribute to be working in your favor. Don't have attributes put in blank places. It's not worth it. And if you're, and this is also a common thing, happened to me. If you're ever at a point where you can't decide between two things, let's say you have your build pretty much finalized, but you can't decide maybe between, do I want to end up like in the example I showed you, do I want to put that vertical up a little bit more or do I want that all on steel? At that point, it's preference. Everyone's going to choose something different, but that's where I would say your game knowledge comes in big time, knowing how much you really need a certain attribute up, how high you really need a certain badge, and whether or not you want to get another badge, whether or not it's necessary or not. Now, if you're playing very competitively or you plan to play very competitively, then I would definitely use more competitive players, competitive creators can use their builds as somewhat of a template. Like I would definitely say to take advice from the people that do play in the competitive scene for sure. But if you're a more casual player, or maybe you want to play comp but you don't want to stick to the meta, which I would say I'm kind of closer to that line where I don't like to play too casually, but I do like to stay off meta. I hate playing 100% on the meta. Then I would say look around, see what people are doing, and use that to help influence your decision, but don't copy because you don't need to. Like with this player I just made, I went with Aerial Wizard on gold. Did I need Aerial Wizard on gold? No. Could I have probably put that on my steel to make my steel stronger? Probably, yeah. And that probably would have been more competitive too to have the 91 steel, but I didn't do that because that's not what I wanted. So do a little bit more analyzing, figure out exactly how you want it. And really the hardest part in my opinion is finalizing the build. Creating the general player outline is not hard. Even fine tuning the stats to make sure you're not wasting attributes anywhere isn't hard once you figure it out. It's hard for some players, but once you learn what the proper caps are, what you need to hit, what's good and what's not, that's not hard either. The hard part is then trying to decide, what do I want more, this stat or this stat? What am I going to use more, this badge at this level or this badge at this level? That's the hard part, figuring out what's going to work perfectly for you. So I suggest you take your time, don't rush it. I've sat there on the builder screen for days looking at one player trying to decide if I should go with this stat or this stat, or if I should do this way or this way, and I'll end up by the last day I'll end up changing a lot of the player or changing not much and end up just making my decision. So take your time, there's no rush. Unless of course you want to rush, but then you might mess up. So like I said, take your time. That's the end of the video. I'm not going to waste your time. It's already been a long enough video. So next one will be a gameplay video, not another long one like this. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy.